Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another great lesson here with us at English Pod. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
And today we're going to be in one of my favorite sporting events, which is
F1, of course.
F1 racing.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about racing, specifically F1, which is a very popular sport all over the world.
Yeah, I think maybe it's like number 2 in popularity after soccer.
Yeah, I think so.
I have no numbers to back that up, though.
Well, they do travel everywhere. They have races all over the world, and just people love it. So,
well, it is kind of a cool thing.
Going 300 kilometers per hour in a car is pretty cool. All right, so let's not delay this any longer. Let's listen to our dialogue for the first time.
Welcome back, racing fans. My name is Rick Fields, and as always, I'm joined by my partner in crime, Bob Copeland.
We're in the last stretch of this very exciting race, and Kimi Raikkonen is leading the pack with only 4 laps to go. They're heading to turn 3, and Lewis Hamilton tries to pass Raikkonen. It's a close one, and oh no! Hamilton hits the wall.
He came in too fast, jammed on the brakes, and spun out. We have a yellow flag, and the pace car is making its way into the track.
The cleanup crew is towing the heavily damaged car, and the green flag drops. Raikkonen is still in the lead with only 2 laps to go.
Smoke is coming out of his car! He seems to be having engine trouble. He makes his way under the pit, and Fernando Alonso takes the lead!
How unlucky for Raikkonen, and this race is over, ladies and gentlemen. Alonso takes the checkered flag.
What an exciting race. I always love a good crash when it comes to car races.
I think many people go to races expecting to see a crash. They don't want to see people getting hurt.
No, but a little bit of...
the emotion of just car crashes and stuff.
Yeah, a little explosion here and there.
All right. So now we saw some really exciting language related to racing. So why don't we look at that now in language takeaway?
Language takeaway.
All right, so we were talking about that crash, and I think what led to the crash was the driver jammed on the brakes.
Right. He jammed on the brakes.
To jam on the brakes.
Okay. Now, if I jam on the brakes...
You push the brakes really, really hard and really quickly and really suddenly.
Right, so you jam on the brakes and you stop very quickly. So Lewis Hamilton jammed on the brakes and consequently spun out.
To spin out.
Okay, in the present, it would be spin out.
Spin out.
Okay, so imagine yourselves driving your car on a very wet road.
And then you jam on the brakes.
Right. So then the car, you kind of lose control of the car and it starts to spin.
It goes in circles.
That would be to spin out.
This has actually happened to me more than once.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you okay?
Yeah, I was fine.
Okay. So the car spun out. Now, in racing, you always see this really cool car come out and be ahead of everyone when there's an accident.
Right. That's called the pace car.
The pace car.
Pace car.
Now, why is it called the pace car?
Because it sets the pace.
Okay, the pace or the speed.
So pace means speed.
So this car comes out and no other car can pass it. Everyone must go at the same speed.
Right, the pace car.
Pace car.
All right, so after there's an accident, the cleanup crew must come out.
Okay, cleanup crew.
Cleanup crew.
All right, so crew, this is an interesting word.
When we talk about a crew, we talk about a group of people who work together.
Okay, but for example, in an office, can I have a crew?
Not really.
Not commonly, right?
Yeah, it's people who work together and they use their hands to work. They do manual labor.
Okay, so I can say, for example, a construction crew.
That's right. Or maybe the ground crew at the airport.
Okay, or the flight crew.
Also at the airport.
All right.
Well, in the airplane.
So that's a crew.
So cleanup crew.
Cleanup crew. Now, they came out to take that car away, that broken or damaged vehicle. So they were towing it.
Tow.
Okay, the verb to tow.
To tow.
So what does it mean when you tow something or you tow a car?
You pull something behind you. So if you're a truck, that might pull a car behind you. That's a tow truck.
A tow truck. Now, this happens commonly if you park your vehicle where you are not supposed to.
That's right. And your car will get towed.
Your car gets towed.
Yep.
Very good. All right, so we saw 5 really great words related to racing. And now, why don't we listen to our dialogue again, and then we'll look at some other interesting phrases.
Welcome back, race fans. My name is Rick Fields, and as always, I'm joined by my partner in crime, Bob Copeland.
We're in the last stretch of this very exciting race, and Kimi Raikkonen is leading the pack with only 4 laps to go. They are heading to turn 3, and Lewis Hamilton tries to pass Raikkonen. It's a close one, and oh no, Hamilton hits the wall.
He came in too fast, jammed on the brakes, and spun out. We have a yellow flag, and the pace car is making its way onto the track.
The cleanup crew is towing the heavily damaged car, and the green flag drops. Raikkonen is still in the lead with only 2 laps to go.
Smoke is coming out of his car. He seems to be having engine trouble. He makes his way into the pit, and Fernando Alonso takes the lead.
How unlucky for Raikkonen. And this race is over, ladies and gentlemen. Alonso takes the checkered flag.
Okay, so now we're back, and I think it's time for us to take a look at some phrases in Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
Well, even though we're talking about F1 racing, a lot of the language can be used in many different situations. So let's look at some of those phrases now. When Rick Fields introduced his co-host, he said, "My partner in crime."
Partner in crime.
Partner in crime.
Now, it's not that they're actually committing a crime.
No,
right?
they're not actually bank robbers.
But it's a very common and friendly way of saying my good friend or
The person I do everything with.
right, my coworker, for example, right?
But a coworker who's a really, really good friend, who you spend a lot of time with.
Okay, so that's your partner in crime.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a metaphor, right? So partner in crime. Now, what about the next phrase?
The last stretch.
The last stretch.
Last stretch.
Okay, before we explain this word, let's listen to some examples and then we'll come back and talk about it.
Example 1. We are finally in the last stretch of a very long week. I can't wait to go home. Example 2.
He's in the last stretch of his college years, and soon he'll graduate.
Okay, so I understand that to mean like the final length of time.
Right, the last or final moments before an ending.
All right, so the last stretch.
The last stretch.
Now, when you're on the last stretch, you just have a few minutes to go.
To go.
Yeah, to go.
Now, this preposition to and the verb go is very easy, right?
Right.
But if you say 5 minutes to go, what does that mean?
5 minutes left.
Left.
Yep.
It doesn't mean it's 5 minutes to actually leave, right?
Right. No, it means you must complete 5 minutes before you can be finished.
Okay.
So it's not about exiting.
Right. I have 5 days to go before I go on vacation.
So it's not about you actually going on the vacation. It's about you passing those 5 days.
Uh-huh. Can you give us another example?
How about we have 45 minutes to go before the end of the day?
That's right. So, to go. Left.
Exactly, to go.
All right. Now let's take a look at our last phrase. Close one.
A close one.
A close one.
All right, another interesting phrase made up of simple words. So let's listen to some examples to help us understand it.
Example 1. That was a close one. The teacher almost caught me cheating. Example 2.
It's a close one. We are tied and the game is almost over.
Example 3.
My girlfriend almost found the presents I hid under the bed. It was a close one.
Okay, so a close one, it means...
A situation that is almost dangerous, but wasn't.
But wasn't.
Yeah.
Exactly. That was a close one. Mm-hmm. Okay. So very good phrases. I think we can take a lot from this and apply it outside of F1, right?
Yeah.
All right. So let's listen to the dialogue for the last time, and then we'll come back and talk about this great sport.
Welcome back, racing fans. My name is Rick Fields, and as always, I'm joined by my partner in crime, Bob Copeland.
We're in the last stretch of this very exciting race, and Kimi Raikkonen is leading the pack with only 4 laps to go. They're heading to turn 3, and Lewis Hamilton tries to pass Raikkonen. It's a close one, and oh no! Hamilton hits the wall.
He came in too fast, jammed on the brakes, and spun out. We have a yellow flag, and the pace car is making its way into the track.
The cleanup crew is towing the heavily damaged car, and the green flag drops. Raikkonen is still in the lead with only 2 laps to go.
Smoke is coming out of his car! He seems to be having engine trouble. He makes his way under the pit, and Fernando Alonso takes the lead!
How unlucky for Raikkonen, and this race is over, ladies and gentlemen. Alonso takes the checkered flag.
All right, so F1 racing, Erica, do you like it? Do you watch it?
Yeah, F1's pretty neat. Cars that drive fast, that's pretty interesting.
Well, for some people it isn't, right? Like, why do I want to go to a race and just see fast cars?
Okay,
pass
I would
by?
never go to a race, but I think I would maybe watch the highlights on TV.
Well, actually, this year it's really exciting because, again, we're going to have a night race. I think it's in Malaysia or somewhere in Asia that they're going to race at night.
Oh, so that's pretty special, huh?
Well, it's like harder to see and you're going really fast.
All right.
Imagine.
All right. So I hear you're going to the F1 this year.
Yes, this year I'm going to go to the Shanghai circuit to watch the F1 race, so I'm really excited about that. I haven't ever been to one, so it should be fun.
All right. Well, I hope you get to see some interesting things like car crashes and pace cars. Yeah. What about you guys, our listeners? Are you fans of F1? Have you ever been to an F1 race?
Exactly. Send us your questions and comments and also your stories. I think we have listeners from all over the world. We have a lot of listeners in Brazil, and I know that there is a Grand Prix there. So tell us, how did it go? Do you like it?
Imagine a sport where speed is everything. Cars moving faster than a plane during takeoff. Engines screaming. Tires burning. Crowds watching with wide eyes and pounding hearts. This is Formula One racing, or F1 for short. It's not just about cars going fast. It's about skill, danger, teamwork, and excitement. But F1 is also a great way to learn real English, because the vocabulary used in racing is often used in everyday life too. In this podcast, we'll explore the world of Formula One racing. And at the same time, we'll learn useful English words and expressions that can help you in real conversations. Let's begin with one of the most important actions in racing, braking. In F1, drivers need to jam on the brakes when they reach a sharp turn. This means they press the brake pedal suddenly and hard. It's fast, it's loud, and sometimes it's the only thing that keeps them from crashing. In everyday English, jam on the brakes can also mean stopping something quickly. For example, if you're walking to the kitchen and your dog suddenly runs in front of you, you might say, "I had to jam on the brakes or I would have stepped on him." Now let's talk about something dramatic that often happens in racing, the spin out. A spin out is when a driver loses control and the car turns in circles or slides off the track. It's dangerous and scary. In daily life, spin out can describe when things suddenly go wrong. Imagine you're working on a project and suddenly everything becomes a mess. You lose your files, your internet stops, and your laptop dies. You might say, "Everything just spun out of control." That's how real life and racing can share the same language. F1 racing is also a team sport. Behind every fast car is a whole team working together. Engineers, mechanics, coaches, and more. One mistake from anyone can cost a race. The same is true in life. Whether it's a job, a family, or a group project, good teamwork is the key to success. You'll hear phrases like "stay on track," "don't crash under pressure," and "find your pace," all inspired by racing, but useful in daily life too. There's so much to learn from this world of speed, danger, and strategy. And as we go deeper, you'll pick up real English that helps you sound natural and confident. Whether you're on a racetrack or just trying to manage your daily routine, the language of Formula One has something powerful to teach. When a car crashes or stops suddenly on the racetrack, something important happens. The yellow flag comes out. This flag tells all the drivers to slow down. It means danger is ahead. Maybe there's a car stopped in the middle of the track, or maybe there's debris on the road. Everyone must drive carefully until the track is safe again. In real life, the phrase "throw a yellow flag" isn't used often as a saying, but the meaning is still clear. Slow down, be careful, something's not right. You might also hear about a pace car in Formula One. When there's an accident or too much danger, a special car, called the pace car, comes onto the track. Its job is to lead the racing cars slowly while the track gets cleaned or fixed. The pace car keeps everyone moving safely, but at a slower speed. In daily life, this idea can be helpful. Imagine you've been working very hard and you're feeling tired. Maybe it's time to bring in a mental pace car to slow things down for a moment so you can think clearly and catch your breath. Now, let's talk about the cleanup crew. After an accident, this team comes out fast. They remove broken car parts, clean up oil spills, and check for anything that could cause another crash. Their job is serious. In everyday English, cleaning up a mess doesn't only mean wiping the floor. It can also mean fixing a mistake or solving a problem. For example, if you send an email with the wrong file, you might say, "I made a mistake, and now I have to clean up the mess." Sometimes in life, we all need to slow down, let the cleanup crew do its job, and follow the pace car for a while. These moments are important. They give us time to breathe, to reflect, and to get back on track. They remind us that not every moment needs full speed. Some moments require calm thinking and careful action. In Formula One, speed is everything, but only when the track is safe and clear. And in life, the same lesson applies. Pushing forward is great, but knowing when to slow down is just as powerful. These ideas are not just about racing. They're about how to live smarter, safer, and more in control. And learning how to talk about these ideas in English will help you grow, not just as a language learner, but as a thinker and a doer. In Formula One, every second counts. Drivers must react fast, make quick decisions, and stay focused. One wrong move, and everything can fall apart. That's why the phrase "split-second decision" is common in racing. It means making a choice very quickly, sometimes in less than a second. These decisions can change the outcome of a race, or even save a life. In everyday English, we also make split-second decisions. For example, when someone suddenly steps into the road and you stop your car just in time, that's a split-second decision. Another important idea in racing is pit stop. A pit stop is when a car pulls off the track for a very fast break. The team changes the tires, refuels the car, and checks for problems. This happens in just a few seconds. In real life, we all need pit stops. You might say, "I've been working all day. I need a pit stop." It means you need a short break to rest, recharge, and get ready to keep going. Learning how to take a pit stop before you burn out is a smart way to take care of your energy and your focus. Let's not forget engine trouble. If the engine doesn't work properly, the race is over. No matter how skilled the driver is, the car must be in good condition. In life, the phrase "engine trouble" can describe any big problem that stops you from moving forward. Maybe your motivation is low. Maybe your plans aren't working. You might say, "I'm having engine trouble with this project." That means something important inside the process isn't working the way it should. In F1, there's also the idea of finding your rhythm. When a driver finds the right speed, timing, and focus, everything works better. It feels smooth and fast and under control. The same happens in life. When you're working or studying and everything feels just right, you might say, "I've found my rhythm." It means you're in a good flow and you're doing your best work without stress. One more phrase is burning out. In racing, if a car is pushed too hard for too long, parts get too hot. They can break. That's burnout. In everyday life, If you work too much or worry too much without rest, you also burn out. You feel tired, angry, and empty. So it's important to know when to stop, rest, and recover, just like in racing. Understanding these phrases not only helps you speak English better, it also helps you understand your own life. The world of Formula One is fast and exciting, but its lessons are deep and personal. You learn how to stay focused, when to rest, and how to move forward with purpose. There's one moment in Formula One that everyone waits for, the green light. When the green light flashes, it means go. Full speed ahead. The race begins. There's energy, tension, and excitement in that single moment. In real life, the phrase green light means permission to start something. If your boss says, "You've got the green light," it means you're free to begin your project. The green light is a signal of action, of confidence, and of trust. It tells you the time is right to move. But right after the green light comes something just as important: focus. Without focus, a driver can make a mistake in the first turn. In life, focus is your ability to keep your attention on one thing. To focus means to shut out the noise, ignore distractions, and do your best work. You might hear someone say, "I need to stay focused right now," or "he lost his focus and made a mistake." Focus is your personal steering wheel. It helps you stay in control. Another big part of racing is strategy. A driver can't just go fast. They need a plan. When should they speed up? When should they slow down? When should they stop for new tires? This is strategy. In daily life, we also need strategy. If you're studying for a big exam, your strategy might be to review one topic each day. If you're learning English, your strategy might be to listen to one podcast every night. Strategy is the plan that helps you win, not just in racing, but in anything. Let's talk about another important word: grip. In racing, grip means how well the tires stick to the road. Without good grip, the car slides and can spin out. In life, the word grip can also mean control. You might hear someone say, "I'm losing my grip," meaning they feel out of control or overwhelmed. On the other hand, if you're handling a tough situation well, someone might say, "You've got a good grip on things." It's a way to describe how steady and calm you are when things get difficult. There's also something called cornering. This means turning a sharp corner without losing speed. Good drivers know how to corner well. They don't panic or slow down too much. In life, cornering is like facing a sudden change. Maybe you lose a job or have to move to a new city. If you manage that turn smoothly, people will say you handled it well. Learning to corner in life means staying balanced and steady when the road ahead suddenly changes. All of these ideas, green lights, focus, strategy, grip, and cornering, teach us how to live smarter and speak more clearly. Each racing term has a deeper meaning that you can use in conversations and real-life situations. When you learn the language of speed, control, and precision, you're also learning the language of confidence and calm. That's the real power of words. In Formula One, one of the most dangerous and exciting moments is the overtake. That's when a driver passes another car to move ahead. It takes perfect timing, strong confidence, and a sharp eye for opportunity. In life, to overtake someone means to move past them, not in a car, but in effort or success. For example, you might hear, "She overtook everyone in the class with her hard work." It shows that you're moving ahead, not by luck, but through determination. Let's look at the word momentum. In racing, once a driver starts going fast, the car builds up momentum. It becomes harder to stop. This word is also used in daily life. When you start a new habit, like learning English every day, and you keep going without stopping, you build momentum. You might say, "I've got momentum now, I don't want to lose it." That means you're moving forward with energy and consistency. Now, consider the phrase "hit the wall." In racing, if a driver loses control, They might crash into the wall at high speed. It's a serious, sometimes career-ending moment. In everyday life, this phrase means you've reached your limit. Maybe you've studied for 5 hours straight, and your brain just can't focus anymore. You say, "I've hit the wall." It's a signal that you need rest before you can continue. Another phrase that comes from racing is under pressure. Drivers are under pressure every second. One mistake can cost them everything. In life, we often feel pressure from deadlines, responsibilities, or even our own expectations. If you manage pressure well, people say you're good under pressure. It means you stay calm, think clearly, and make smart choices even when things get hard. There's also a very important idea in racing called track position. The closer you are to the front, the better your chances of winning. But it's not only about being ahead. It's also about being in the right place at the right time. In life, this idea is similar. You might hear someone say, "She's in a great position to get that job." That doesn't mean she's racing. It means she has the right skills, the right timing, and the right energy to succeed. Every term in Formula One tells a story of effort, risk, and control. And each one can be used to understand real situations in your daily life. Whether you're trying to get ahead, manage pressure, or keep your momentum, the language of racing helps you talk about those moments with power and clarity. That's what makes English not just a tool for speaking, but for thinking smarter and living stronger. Formula One is not just about the drivers. Behind every race, there's a full team of people working hard to support the car and the person driving it. These are the engineers, the pit crew, the strategists, the analysts, and many others. This idea brings us to the word support system. In racing, your support system is the reason you can even finish the race. In real life, it's the same. Your family, your friends, your teachers, these people are your support system. They help you stay strong when things get tough. You might say, "I couldn't have done it without my support system." Then there's the phrase under the hood. In racing, this means checking the engine and everything inside the car. It's about looking at what's not visible. In daily life, under the hood can mean looking deeper at your emotions, your habits, or your real motivations. Someone might say, "It looks fine on the outside, but let's check under the hood." This means let's look deeper before we say everything is okay. Another important idea is fine-tuning. This is when small adjustments are made to make the car perform perfectly. A tiny change can make a big difference in speed or control. In everyday life, fine-tuning can be used when you're improving something. Maybe you're working on your English pronunciation. After learning the basics, you fine-tune the little sounds. You make small changes to sound more natural. You might say, "I'm fine-tuning my accent right now." There's also a term called lap time. In racing, this is the amount of time it takes to complete one circle of the track. Teams track lap times carefully to understand how well the car is performing. In life, keeping track of time is also important. You might be trying to manage your daily routine or improve how quickly you complete tasks. You could say, "I'm trying to improve my lap time at work," meaning you're trying to be more efficient. Now let's think about staying in your lane. In racing, changing lanes can be dangerous unless you do it with care. Staying in your lane means focusing on your own race, your own performance. In real life, the same phrase means focusing on your own goals without getting distracted by what others are doing. You might hear, "Just stay in your lane and do your best." It means focus on your own path. All of these ideas remind us that behind every fast car, every big win, there is a team, a system, and a process. And in life, your success is often the result of many small, smart choices, not just one big moment. Whether you're adjusting your focus, checking under the hood, or fine-tuning your skills, you're learning how to move through life with greater understanding and better control. And learning how to speak about these things in English gives you even more power to express who you are and where you're going. Every Formula One race eventually comes to an end. The checkered flag waves and the drivers cross the finish line. Some win, some don't, but all of them have completed the race. In life, the phrase crossing the finish line means reaching your goal. It could be finishing a big project, completing your studies, or learning a new skill like English. When you cross the finish line, it's a moment of pride. You might say, after months of hard work, I finally crossed the finish line. But what happens after the race is just as important. Teams review everything. They look at what worked well and what didn't. This is called debriefing. In real life, a debrief is when you take time to think about an experience and learn from it. Maybe after a presentation at work, your team meets to say what went right and what needs improvement. That's a debrief. It helps you grow and do even better next time. There's also a powerful idea in racing called legacy. It's not just about winning one race. It's about what you leave behind. A great driver is remembered not only for their speed, but also for their sportsmanship, leadership, and example. In life, we all create a legacy through our actions, our words, and the way we treat others. You don't have to be famous to leave a legacy. Just doing your best, helping others, and growing every day builds something meaningful. Think about learning curves. Every driver starts somewhere. They're not fast and perfect from day one. They learn from mistakes, train harder, and keep trying. That's what a learning curve is, how you get better over time. When you're learning English, you'll have ups and downs too. Some days you'll feel strong, and other days you'll feel stuck. That's okay. It's all part of the curve. What matters is that you keep moving forward. Finally, there's the phrase, the race of life. Life can feel like a race sometimes. You try to keep up, move ahead, and reach your goals. But it's not always about being the fastest. It's about knowing when to go, when to rest, and how to enjoy the ride. Formula One teaches us that success is not only speed. It's focus, teamwork, learning, and balance. Just like in F1, your English journey is a race you run with passion, practice, and patience. And now, as we reach the end of this journey together, I hope these words, ideas, and lessons help you move forward with more confidence, both in your language and in your life.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
A person you always do things together with.
Partner in crime.
The final time period.
Stretch.
Left to complete.
To go.
Hit or step on the brakes quickly and forcefully.
Jam on the brakes.
A car slides and makes a turn rapidly in an uncontrolled way.
Spin out.
The car used when accidents happen, which leads other cars but is not a competitor in the race.
Pace car.
The sign used in an F1 race to show that there is an accident on some part of the track.
Yellow flag.
The group of people who clean up the track.
Cleanup crew.
The sign used in an F1 race to show that the race is now back to the normal state.
Green flag.
To be the first in position.
Take the lead.
A flag with black and white squares showing someone has won.
Checkered flag.
Cause an engine to run very quickly.
Rev.
The status of winning a championship in a sport.
Title.
The quality of moving easily through the air.
Aerodynamic.
A person who loves cars and racing. American English.
Motorhead.
The race that determines who will be able to participate in the main race.
Qualifying round.
The front position in a car race.
Pole position. Let's try that faster.
Cause an engine to run very quickly.
Rev.
The sign used in an F1 race to show that there is an accident on some part of the track.
Yellow flag.
Left to complete.
To go.
The race that determines who will be able to participate in the main race.
Qualifying round.
A person who loves cars and racing. American English.
Motorhead.
To be the first in position.
Take the lead.
The status of winning a championship in a sport.
Title.
The quality of moving easily through the air.
Aerodynamic.
The group of people who clean up the track.
Cleanup crew.
The car used when accidents happen, which leads other cars but is not a competitor in the race.
Pace car.
A flag with black and white squares showing someone has won.
Checkered flag.
The front position in a car race.
Pole position.
Hit or step on the brakes quickly and forcefully.
Jam on the brakes.
The sign used in an F1 race to show that the race is now back to the normal state.
Green flag.
A car slides and makes a turn rapidly in an uncontrolled way.
Spin out.
A person you always do things together with.
Partner in crime.
The final time period.
Stretch.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Jam on the brakes. You shouldn't jam on the brakes suddenly while driving. You can lose control of your car. Jam on the brakes. He was really angry and jammed on the brakes and ordered me to get out of the car. Jam on the brakes. There was an accident right in front of me. Luckily, I jammed on the brakes and was able to avoid it. That was a close one. The teacher almost caught me cheating. It's a close one. We are tied and the game is almost over. My girlfriend almost found the presents I hid under the bed. It was a close one. To go. Only 3 days to go, and then we are going on vacation. To go. I have another 15 minutes to go before I can go home. To go. I'm so excited. Only 1 month to go until my new baby is born. I managed to make my way through the crowd and go into the concert.
There was a lot of security at the concert, but I managed to make my way onto the stage. She was able to make her way onto the train. You can't park here or your car will be towed by the police. My car broke down last night, so I had to call someone to come and tow my car. I can't believe they towed my car away. I was parked there for only a few minutes.
There's something about the sound of Formula One cars that sends a shiver through your body. It's not just noise, it's pure adrenaline turned into sound. Today, I want to tell you the story of the first time I attended a live Formula One race, an experience that was so intense it felt like the track itself was alive. You'll hear about the roar of engines, the split-second decisions that can change everything, and the kind of drama that only high-speed racing can deliver. It was a warm, sunny afternoon, and the grandstands were already buzzing with excitement when I arrived. People from all over the world were wearing their favorite team colors, waving flags, and checking the giant screens for update. I could feel the vibration of the engines even before I saw the cars. The smell of fuel and rubber mixed in the air, and it was impossible not to feel the energy building. The race was minutes away from starting. The drivers were lined up in their positions, each one focused, helmets on, hands gripping the steering wheel. When the lights above the track lit up red, the crowd went silent. The moment they turned green, every car shot forward like it had been released from a slingshot. The engines roared so loud that I could feel it in my chest. For the first few laps, everything went smoothly. The cars moved like arrows, hugging every curve of the track. But then, in a tight corner, one driver jammed on the brakes a little too late. His car skidded sideways, spinning out in a cloud of smoke. The crowd gasped. A yellow flag went up, meaning drivers had to slow down for safety. Moments later, the pace car rolled onto the track, leading the other cars while the cleanup crew rushed to clear the damaged vehicle.
I leaned forward, watching every move. Even during this pause in the action, I realized how much strategy went into racing. It wasn't just about speed. It was about timing, precision, and knowing when to push and when to hold back. This was more than a race. It was a test of skill, nerve, and focus, and I was only just beginning to see how much could happen in a single lap.
The pace car stayed out for a few laps, giving the cleanup crew time to remove the damaged car and sweep away debris from the track. From my seat, I could see them working quickly. People in bright orange uniforms carrying equipment, checking every part of the road surface to make sure it was safe. Even a small piece of carbon fiber left behind could cause another accident at these speed. As the cars followed the pace car, I noticed how the drivers kept weaving from side to side. At first, I thought it was random, but then I remembered something I'd read. They do this to keep their tires warm. Warm tires have better grip, and better grip means more control when the race restarts. It was a small detail, but it showed just how much thought goes into every second of Formula One. Then, on the big screen, I saw the race director's message, green flag coming up. That meant the danger was cleared and the race was about to resume. The crowd began to cheer in anticipation. The pace car pulled away and the drivers bunched up, each one ready to pounce the moment they were allowed to go full speed again. When the green flag waved, it was like watching wild animals released from a cage. Engines screamed, tires squealed, and the cars shot forward. One driver made an aggressive move, trying to take the lead in the first corner after the restart. The crowd roared, half in excitement, half in fear that it might end in another crash. The next few laps were intense. The front runners were separated by just fractions of a second. You could see them pushing their limits, braking at the last possible moment before a corner, then accelerating hard out of it. Every lap, the positions shifted. Second place overtaking first, third place trying to close the gap. It struck me that racing is like a high-speed chess game. Every move you make forces your opponent to react, and every reaction opens new opportunities. Sitting there in the grandstands, I could feel the tension building again. Something told me the next big moment was just around the corner. Sure enough, the next big moment came faster than anyone expected. As the leaders approached one of the sharpest corners on the track, the driver in second place made his move. He slipped into the inside line, braking later than the car ahead. For a split second, it looked like he would take the lead. But in Formula One, a split second is enough for everything to change. The leader defended hard, holding his position and forcing the challenger to back off. The crowd erupted, some cheering, others groaning. I could see the frustration in the challenger's driving. He pushed harder on the next straight, almost brushing wheels with the leader. At those speeds, even the slightest touch can send both cars spinning out.
Behind them, another drama was unfolding. Two midfield drivers were fighting for position, switching places 3 times in a single lap. At one point, one of them locked up his brakes, causing a puff of white smoke to rise from his tires. Locking up means the tire stops rotating while the car is still moving forward, and it can ruin the tire's performance. He managed to keep control, but the mistake cost him precious time.
Everywhere I looked, there was action. Cars darting in and out of slipstreams, drivers searching for any chance to overtake. The commentators' voices from the loudspeakers were rapid and excited, calling out moves and strategies. They mentioned DRS, which stands for Drag Reduction System, a special feature that lets drivers open a flap on their rear wing to reduce air resistance and gain speed, but only in certain zones. Hearing that, I realized how many rules and tactics were involved in each lap. As the race reached its halfway point, the teams began preparing for pit stop. Mechanics stood ready in the pit lane with fresh tires and equipment. Pit stops are one of the most thrilling parts of F1, not because they take long, but because they're over in just 2 or 3 seconds. Every fraction of a second matters, and a slow stop can destroy a driver's chances. The tension was rising again. The leaders were still nose to tail, pit crews were waiting, and the race was perfectly set up for a dramatic second half. I could feel my heart racing along with the cars. Something big was coming, and the whole crowd knew it.
The first of the leaders dived into the pit lane, his team ready and waiting. As the car screeched to a halt, 12 mechanics moved in perfect synchronization. One at each wheel, another adjusting the front wing, a few checking sensors. In less than 3 seconds, the fresh tires were on, and the driver shot back onto the track. It was like watching a perfectly choreographed dance, but at lightning speed. Right after that, his main rival stayed out for one more lap before pitting. This is called the overcut. Staying on the track longer in hopes of setting a faster lap and coming out ahead after the pit stop. It's a risky strategy because older tires can lose grip, but if the driver manages it well, it can make all the difference. When the rival finally pitted, the crowd watched the big screens to see who would emerge in front. The first driver came flying down the straight. The second was just leaving the pit lane. And they reached the first corner side by side. For a moment, it was too close to call. Then the second driver pulled ahead by just a car length. The fans exploded in cheers, while others groaned at the narrow miss. Meanwhile, further back in the pack, another incident caused a stir. 2 cars tangled wheels coming out of a bend. sending one of them spinning into the grass. The yellow flag came out again, signaling the drivers to slow down. Marshals rushed to help, and the damaged car was pulled away.
Once the green flag waved again, the pace returned instantly. The leaders were still pushing hard, trading fastest laps as if daring each other to make a mistake. The sound of the engines at full throttle was deafening, the kind of sound that you don't just hear, you feel it in your bones.
By now, my voice was almost gone from shouting and reacting to every move. I wasn't just watching a race anymore. I was living inside it. Every lap felt like a chapter in a book I couldn't put down, and I knew the final pages were going to be unforgettable.
With only a handful of laps left, the tension in the air was almost unbearable. The top two drivers were so close that you could barely fit the length of a car between them. Every time they reached a straight, the second driver would slip into the slipstream of the leader, gaining speed by reducing air resistance. The crowd would rise to their feet, hoping for an overtake, but each time the leader defended his position perfectly.
In one heart-stopping moment, the challenger made a move on the outside of a corner. It was risky. Overtaking on the outside means you have less grip and a longer distance to travel. For a second, it looked like he might pull it off, but as they exited the turn, the leader used the inside line, the power ahead again. The grandstand shook with noise, half cheering, half groaning.
Meanwhile, the battle for third place was heating up. Two drivers from rival teams were trading positions lap after lap. One of them dove into the corner so late that his brakes locked up, sending a puff of smoke into the air. Somehow, he kept control and held the position, earning a wave of applause from the crowd. The announcer's voice boomed over the speakers. "This is going to be a fight until the very last lap." And it was clear he was right. The gap between first and second was shrinking, the battle for third was still alive, and every other driver on the track was pushing for their best possible finish. As they crossed the start/finish line with just 2 laps remaining, I could feel my heart pounding. It was the final stretch, the moment when drivers dig deeper than ever, when every decision could mean victory or defeat. I gripped the edge of my seat, knowing that the last laps would decide everything, and that anything could still happen. The second-to-last lap began with the challenger right on the leader's rear wing. You could see the pressure building. Every braking point, every turn, every acceleration was a test of nerve. Coming out of a fast chicane, the challenger activated DRS, the drag reduction system, giving him a burst of extra speed. The crowd jumped to their feet as he closed the gap. Into the next corner, he tried the inside line. The leader defended fiercely, forcing the challenger to back out at the very last moment. It was pure racercraft, knowing exactly how far to push without crossing the line into contact. But the delay had cost the challenger valuable momentum, and now he had only 1 lap left to make his move. As they crossed the start/finish line for the final lap, the noise from the grandstands was deafening. Everyone knew this was it. The leader's car twitched slightly under braking, just enough for the challenger to smell opportunity. Down the main straight, he tucked in close, using the slipstream to pull alongside. For a brief, electric moment, they were wheel to wheel. 2 cars, 2 drivers, 1 goal. The leader braked late, the challenger braked even later. They both slid into the corner, tires screaming, fighting for every inch of asphalt. Coming out of the turn, the challenger had his nose ahead, but the leader had the better line for the next bend. With 1 clean move, he slipped back into first place. The crowd roared, not just for the leader's defense, but for the sheer bravery of both drivers. Half a lap remained. The checkered flag was ready, the tension unbearable. Everyone knew the final corners would decide the race, and no one in the stands dared to blink. They flew into the final sector, the leader still clinging to first place with the challenger glued to his gearbox. Every corner was perfectly calculated, no wasted movement, no opening left unguarded. The crowd's cheers rose into a constant roar as they approached the last turn. The challenger made one last desperate attempt, diving toward the inside. For a split second, his front wing edged ahead, but the leader carried more speed on the outside, holding the line with absolute precision. Out of the corner, both cars surged toward the finish straight, engines screaming at maximum power. The checkered flag waved. They crossed the line less than half a second apart. The leader punched the air in victory, and the challenger, despite finishing second, gave a small wave to acknowledge the incredible fight. The grandstands erupted. People were shouting, clapping, even hugging strangers. I stayed in my seat for a moment, letting the sound and energy wash over me. I'd come here to watch a race, but what I saw was more than just cars going fast. It was strategy, courage, and skill played out at unbelievable speed. It was the kind of competition where even those who don't win can walk away with respect. As the cars returned to the pits and the crowd slowly began to leave, I realized I had just witnessed something unforgettable. The race might be over, but the memory of those final laps, the roar of the engines, the smell of burnt rubber, the tension in every heartbeat, would stay with me forever.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
A person you always do things together with.
Partner in crime.
The final time period.
Stretch.
Left to complete.
To go.
Hit or step on the brakes quickly and forcefully.
Jam on the brakes.
A car slides and makes a turn rapidly in an uncontrolled way.
Spin out.
The car used when accidents happen, which leads other cars but is not a competitor in the race.
Pace car.
The sign used in an F1 race to show that there is an accident on some part of the track.
Yellow flag.
The group of people who clean up the track.
Cleanup crew.
The sign used in an F1 race to show that the race is now back to the normal state.
Green flag.
To be the first in position.
Take the lead.
A flag with black and white squares showing someone has won.
Checkered flag.
Cause an engine to run very quickly.
Rev.
The status of winning a championship in a sport.
Title.
The quality of moving easily through the air.
Aerodynamic.
A person who loves cars and racing. American English.
Motorhead.
The race that determines who will be able to participate in the main race.
Qualifying round.
The front position in a car race.
Pole position.
Let's try that faster.
Cause an engine to run very quickly.
Rev.
The sign used in an F1 race to show that there is an accident on some part of the track.
Yellow flag.
Left to complete.
To go.
The race that determines who will be able to participate in the main race.
Qualifying round.
A person who loves cars and racing. American English.
Motorhead.
To be the first in position.
Take the lead.
The status of winning a championship in a sport.
Title.
The quality of moving easily through the air.
Aerodynamic.
The group of people who clean up the track.
Cleanup crew.
The car used when accidents happen, which leads other cars but is not a competitor in the race.
Pace car.
A flag with black and white squares showing someone has won.
Checkered flag.
The front position in a car race.
Pole position.
Hit or step on the brakes quickly and forcefully.
Jam on the brakes.
The sign used in an F1 race to show that the race is now back to the normal state.
Green flag.
A car slides and makes a turn rapidly in an uncontrolled way.
Spin out.
A person you always do things together with.
Partner in crime.
The final time period.
Stretch.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Jam on the brakes. You shouldn't jam on the brakes suddenly while driving. You can lose control of your car. Jam on the brakes. He was really angry and jammed on the brakes and ordered me to get out of the car. Jam on the brakes. There was an accident right in front of me. Luckily, I jammed on the brakes and was able to avoid it. That was a close one. The teacher almost caught me cheating. It's a close one. We are tied and the game is almost over. My girlfriend almost found the presents I hid under the bed. It was a close one. To go. Only 3 days to go, and then we are going on vacation. To go. I have another 15 minutes to go before I can go home. To go. I'm so excited. Only 1 month to go until my new baby is born. I managed to make my way through the crowd and go into the concert. There was a lot of security at the concert, but I managed to make my way onto the stage. She was able to make her way onto the train. You can't park here or your car will be towed by the police. My car broke down last night, so I had to call someone to come and tow my car. I can't believe they towed my car away. I was parked there for only a few minutes.